things I'd like to talk to you about first today is definitions. When I say definitions, I mean the definition of things as they really are. It isn't correctly identifying what something is and what we say we are as a country, for example, or the definition of words in debating and how important it is to define what you're talking about before you even start the conversation. Two good examples, my tried and true favorites. First off, the first one was gun control. When we're going to debate about gun control and whether or not it even works, and the reality of the situation is, we have to define certain things. And we have to identify certain arguments. First off, why do we want gun control? People on the left would say, well, we want to stop crime. We want to, take the criminals' ability to hurt people away. Okay, well, if that's what it is, let's define what a criminal is. Very quickly, if you take a thesaurus and you go criminal, it comes up with lawbreaker. Lawbreaker, definition, what? Somebody who breaks the law. So one of the first things we can assume, and is a given, is that if somebody's a lawbreaker, that means they don't follow the law. Now, if somebody doesn't follow the law, what good does passing a law to stop them from breaking the law or having this gun? What good is that law about them not having a 30-round magazine going to do if they're a lawbreaker? They're not going to follow the law. By definition of what they are, they will break that law. But we can let's assume that they will, right? Because we are not to assume the lawbreaker, by definition, is somebody who is going to all of a sudden follow the law. That would be foolish. So when we want to have gun control and have it work, the very definition of some of the words involved in that argument belie the whole reason for having gun control in the first place. And right there, the argument falls apart. Just by defining that one word, criminal, and applying it properly in the argument with which your opponent will face you with. Let's take the other meaning I intended to use definition, or explain to you why definitions are important. You see, we hear in this country all the time about democracy this or democracy that. But is America a democracy? Find for me the word democracy in our founding documents. It's not there. So we have to look and say, okay, we're not a democracy. What does that mean then? What it means is that when you talk democracy, you have to realize that is not reality. We are improperly defining our country. We are a republic. And the importance of that in the argument, or many arguments about politics in this country, is huge. Because the reason we are a republic and not a democracy is because democracy is mob rule. We are a republic because the mob is not the most important thing. That's the collective. The most important thing in our country in liberty is the individual. The individual's right. The freedom of the individual to do as he sees fit, as long as he does not intrude on other people's freedom, to do as he pleases. And that is so of just utmost importance to remember when discussing freedom, liberty, politics, anything. But we cannot let that factor point be made light or be taken lightly. It has to be on the forefront of our minds when talking about freedom, liberty, and our rights and politics and everything. That this is not a society of the mob. It is a society of the individual. The individual is of the utmost importance when we talk about America and who we are. We are not about the collective. We are about the individual and the individual's right. The individual's ability, as long as he bothers no one else, to do as he sees fit. And that is why properly defining what we're talking about, as well as defining the words we use and why they're important, democracy, republic, criminal, lawbreaker, All these things are so important. Very often, you can shoot down those anti-freedom people, those people that want to use the words and use the debate or the emotions of a debate against you. You can shut them down just by properly defining the terms on which you are speaking with them and the way they are defined. That is absolutely important. If we cannot do that, if you cannot do that when you speak to somebody, you cannot properly define and identify words and what you're talking about, you are doomed to lose.